Gaming. It's important to me and to a lot of us. It takes us out of our world full of woes, insecurities, and stress. We break away, exploring worlds, solving puzzles, becoming heroes, and having fun with our friends. Destiny 1 was a game that evolved over time, with its shaky initial launch that left a lot of people scratching their heads with its quickly told, vague story. Over a 3-year life cycle, Bungie has molded its IP from an ambiguous shooter-looter MMO hybrid into really a genre of its own, changing over time, perfecting the elements it did right. With the upcoming launch of Destiny 2, we all want the game to be perfect. Whether it's the story and lore, competitive multiplayer, endgame PvE content, or integrations for groups of players and clans, players are putting their faith into Bungie to deliver their dream game. Before its launch, the hype behind Destiny was at a fever pitch. For me, it was a game that I thought was the coolest premise ever. In high school, I was such a huge WoW head and logged hundreds and hundreds of hours into World of Warcraft. I loved the idea for the grind of loot, raiding to get the best gear, and then going just to kick butt in PvP. So the idea of combining elements of that and a world similar to Bungie's Halo, I was sold. Halo 2, 3, and Reach were some of my most cherished times as a teenager and introduced me to the world of first-person shooters. Fast forward to 2014. I recently took a job at a radio station in Virginia Beach, Virginia. I moved 650 miles away from my very small town in Pennsylvania, and I was all alone. One of my best friends, Max, got Destiny when it first launched, and we played together. He was the only person I really grouped up with, and we shot endlessly for hours into the old loot cave. I love Max, but he was one hard to get a hold of person, and I couldn't rely on playing the game with him. I remember sitting in my cubicle at my job and seeing Bungie's social media pages sharing that it's launching Vault of Glass, and I was left out of the raid because, well, I had Max, he was hard to get a hold of, and now I need 4 others. At the time, I didn't know that there was a whole brand new world waiting for me online that is the Destiny community. I didn't know about LFGs or going on the Reddit to group up or even the Bungie forums. So with the exotics I managed to snag from the legendaries of the loot cave, I just put down Destiny. I popped back when Dark Below arrived because I saw the season pass holders got that sweet Tumbler Sparrow, and I hopped into the Crucible, tried to use my Patience and Time Sniper, and got my butt kicked because I had no idea what the metas were at the time, and I put the game back down. It was around April 2015. I recently proposed to my fiance before she went on an 8-month deployment. Shortly after, I lost my job at the radio station I was working at, and I felt super alone in a town with no friends. Luckily, my fiance had a best friend whose boyfriend was huge into Destiny. So we started playing together. We grouped up and even formed our own clan, raided until 2 a.m. because we finally found what LFG services were, and we were quite potatoes, picking up people from LFG sites for the Vault of Glass, Crota, and then House of Wolves dropped. It was a ton of fun, and it felt like the old sensation I got from WoW. Gearing up, playing with friends, spending nights in the Crucible. Taking King launched, and we grew closer and closer together as a clan. We didn't have a full enough roster for the King's Fall raid, but we'd always have to pick someone up, and we still had a blast together. I started doing content for YouTube, and then my fiance came home around Christmas time. Obviously, I couldn't play as much as I wanted to, and we all kind of just drifted apart in the clan. That March, I followed my fiance to Memphis, Tennessee for a job and played Destiny primarily just by myself, which I didn't mind too much because I was creating YouTube content, and that's really how I dealt with stress in my life. Fast forward to now. Destiny 2 has had its gameplay premiere, people played 60 FPS PC versions at E3, and people have a lot of opinions and thoughts about the sequel. Some may be scared that the Crucible won't have ranked matches and may be having an experience that may not be rewarding in the end. Some people may be scared with the removal of Grimoire in the game that the game might not have a story. And yes, Destiny actually had quite a story, you just had to read it in the Grimoire. Though I would love to see some sort of ranked rewards in Destiny 2 and a deep story, the one thing I want is the ability for people right out of the gate to find groups for endgame activities. For me, not being able to play Vault Glass until 5 months after its launch, just because I didn't go online, is something I'm kind of salty about. Some people want to make the endgame only for the elite, and I get that. But at the same time, I would have played raids more if I only have known about LFG's services. I know Destiny plans to bring clan features into the forefront in D2, but I hope they deliver it for the people like me from back in 2014. Wanting to actually play the endgame, but not knowing how to actually do it. Destiny 2 holds the power to expand on its community, bring people together, and most importantly, help people forget about their woes and stress. For me, Destiny 1's community was such a highlight for me. The friendships that were made, the late nights grinding for god rolls or exotics, and the joy and happiness that you get for clearing your first raid boss. I just hope that they help create an in-game platform that helps connect people to build those friendships in Destiny 2.